I'm Kevin Morton. I'm a sophomore. This is my third Pecha Kucha that I've done. I mean, it's like 2.5 really, because as I said, this is the adapted first one. Obviously within the parameters of the first one that I did, I had to stay because it was a project, so I had to do certain things. This one I kind of had a little more fun with. I've changed around because I kind of could do whatever I wanted. This is my Pecha Kucha now. So I'm going to show it to you guys and answer questions and whatnot and have fun. As a note, I do not use note cards, and it's all timed for 20 seconds, automatic, switch, whatnot. So last semester, I was given a project where we were allotted like a small budget, and we pretty much had to look at Wheaton College and find some kind of problem or issue on campus. So I decided to focus in on cigarette smoke here on campus. Going into this, I wanted to answer 3 questions. First of all, does smoking present a problem on campus? Should there be a solution, and what should that solution be? Now before I start, I want to state I am not against smoking. This is not a rant by some angry, non-smoking student who's trying to make smoking look bad. In fact, I feel like college is a time and place in all our lives where we should try to experiment and try new things. So if you want to smoke, you should be allowed to do so. But saying that, when it comes to trying new things, I feel that there's a line drawn in the sand. And when someone does something that does not affect those around them, they have not crossed this line. But when someone does something that disrupts, distracts, or harms someone else, that's when I feel this line has been crossed. So coming into this project, I asked myself, have Wheaton College smokers crossed this line? And at first, this question terrified me. It's like a looming mountain overhead. I was afraid of coming across as someone who was trying to attack smokers. But at the same time, I felt like there probably were people on this campus who did feel distracted, disrupted, or harmed by smokers on campus. And you all know what I'm talking about. Maybe a lot of times you're going in and out of a lot of buildings on campus and there's someone smoking right outside of it. And it's hard to avoid the smoke. And this isn't just students, professors do the same thing. And maybe you're sitting in your dorm room and someone's smoking outside your window and you close the window and the smoke still comes in. This might not bother you, but this definitely does bother certain people. And I don't need to tell you why this is bad. We've been told why this is bad since we were little. Smoking's simply unhealthy. Smoking is the leading cause of avoidable death. In America, a lot of people don't like the smell of smoke, and according to the National Health Association, secondhand smoke causes immediate damage to the body and lungs. Now, these issues are being recognized. A survey was actually sent out last semester, and according to it, 45% of your fellow students and staff here who were surveyed feel that their lives to some degree are negatively impacted by smoking on campus. Now, this isn't a majority, this isn't over 50%, but over 700 people were surveyed. If you think about it, that's a lot of people to feel that our line of stand has been crossed. So, maybe there is a problem. So let's think of some solutions. Well, I thought of, what if we make a rule where people have to smoke a certain distance away from buildings? That way it's easier to avoid the smoke. Well, for those of you who don't know, such a rule does exist. You have to smoke 25 feet away from campus buildings here at Wheaton College. But people tend to ignore that rule. And if people are ignoring it, you might be wondering, well, who's in charge of the rule? Who's supposed to be enforcing it? Well, interestingly enough, the answer is nobody. The rule was set up so that students were given the opportunity to respect one another. Because let's be honest, it'd be a little silly to have public safety going around and pushing smokers away from buildings. They have bigger things to deal with. But it's also understandable that smokers might not want to smoke 25 feet away from buildings. I mean, a common thing with that is you're out from under this overpass outside the entrance. You might be out in the snow and the rain, and who wants to do that? So a nearby college in Rhode Island, Roger Williams, actually had a very interesting solution to this problem. They built gazebos throughout the whole campus. And smokers have to smoke within those gazebos to kind of respect students around them. They're kind of sectioned off. But it was state law in Rhode Island to be 25 feet away, and Wheaton College actually did look into this, but it turns out that there just wasn't enough money for it, and it didn't fit the aesthetic of the school, according to the Dean of Health. And so maybe this 25 feet rule, maybe it can work, but people just don't know about it. So I thought of some ideas. What if we send out emails informing people about this rule? Well, that's been done. What if we put up signs saying, hey, smoke 25 feet away from campus buildings? But that's been done. What if we take ashtrays and move them 25 feet away from buildings? But that's also been done. All these things have been done, but nothing seems to really have been changing. People still ignore the rule. And I know, yes, we could always do a better job. We could send more emails, but will people read them? We could put up more signs, but will people just ignore them? We could move more ashtrays, but will people just continue to leave their cigarette butts on the ground like they already do? All these things could be done, and nothing seems to be changing. So I want to stop for a second. I want to stop because there is another solution. There is a solution that I feel could work, but I also don't like it. I feel it's unfair, but it has been suggested, and that is a campus-wide ban of smoking on campus. Now, I don't like this because I feel it's unfair, but I also feel that it presents the same problem as enforcing that 25 feet rule. It'd be a little silly to have public safety have to go around and stop people from smoking. But I also feel that line in the sand, it crosses it. But going in the other direction, I feel a lot of smokers would feel angered, disrupted, or harmed by banning smoking. Some of them might even leave, but just because it's unfair, don't think that this is something that couldn't possibly happen. According to that same survey that was sent out before, 48% of people who were surveyed would agree with a complete ban of products that create secondhand smoke on campus. Now, that's a big deal, along with the fact that Salem College has implemented a ban like this, and it's working. And the National College Health Association is supporting bans like this. This is possible, so let's look at some kind of positives coming out of it. Well, smoking is unhealthy, so people might be healthier. People with asthma might be safer. The air would be cleaner. Wheaton College could advertise itself as being health conscious, and people would stop complaining because there's so many emails sent out about the smell of smoke outside of buildings and windows. But there's also a lot of negatives that go along with this. Current smokers would feel like outlaws. They'd almost be forced to quit, which can be just as unhealthy as smoking in the first place. This would put more on public safety. People would complain that their rights are being infringed on, and let's be honest, it would be just silly to have a legal substance pretty much be illegal on campus. But there is something else to keep in mind, this kind of hope that's rising in the distance, is that incoming freshmen would be advertised to that Wheaton College is smoke-free. They'd come into it not expecting any different, and therefore they could, as chaotic as it would be at first, everything would kind of calm down because the incoming freshmen would accept it. But at the same time, this ban, I don't like it. I feel it's unfair, but it could work. The 25 feet rule, it's fair, but it just doesn't work. And so I've looked at this, and what I've come down to is there just seems to be no easy solution. Nothing that can really make anything work except to create some kind of community at Wheaton College where people can work together and communicate and help each other to understand each other's needs. But that just doesn't seem to be possible, and I don't even know if it would work. So there really just, what I've concluded is there just really isn't an easy answer to this problem.